truck ever impounded?
Same objection.
We haven't established that it was impounded.
It's been asked and answered. I'm going to sustain the
Okay.
objection.
Okay. What happened to the truck afterwards?
We left it where it was parked.
Left it where it was parked. Okay. Did anybody ever come to collect the truck?
I have no idea.
You have no idea. Okay. Let's get back to the search of it. Now you said, that Captain Phelps was there, you were there. Who's CCFO?
Well,
I'm-
let's see if
I was just gonna ask about-
Excuse me. Let's see if there's something new that hasn't been asked.
Okay. Who's CC Hoverson?
She is a deputy that works in the training division.
Okay. And why was she at this search of a vehicle used in a homicide?
For learning, training purposes.
She was learning.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Now, did the forensics guy, you said John Underwood that was there, if I remember correctly,
Yes, sir.
did he search the vehicle?
I believe he did.
Okay. You believe he did, but do you
believe-
know he did?
I don't recall if he did or not.
Okay. And you said the search, if you remember right, that you videotaped the search, right? So would John Underwood be on that video checking out the truck?
I don't recall if he
Did you-
searched the truck.
Okay. You don't recall if he searched the truck at all? Do you remember, I would imagine he would have went before you. So, do you remember you gave a reason why or why not he wouldn't?
It was 6 years ago. I don't remember who.
Did you search the truck?
Yes.
Okay. What'd you find in it?
I would have to look at my report for everything. We found drug paraphernalia. We found some mask, some knives.
Okay. Some masks, some knives, some drug paraphernalia.
And that's,
Pretty, was any of that taken into evidence?
yes.
Okay, good. And did it ever prove to have any evidentiary value?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, so none of it actually. Did you guys do anything special with it? Did you? The search of the truck, how did you go about again, is there a procedure for it? Is there something that, a certain way you have to do it, anything like that?
No, just other than the same standard, writing the search warrant, having the state look at it, saying yay or nay, and then having a judge look at it and saying yes or no, signing it. And then there's procedural things where we got to record us reading the search warrant. Like in the case of a house, we'd read it to the occupants. In the case of an unoccupied truck, we read it to the unoccupied truck. And then paperwork that we have to give to like the owner of the truck, stuff like that, but nothing other than that.
Okay. Ms. Malone, now at this point, you're a Detective Malone, right?
Yes, sir.
Homicide detective, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you think it would have been prudent to take a vehicle that's been used in a homicide, to impound it?
Objection argumentative.
I'm asking for expertise. She's a homicide detective, I would assume they have.
Overrule the objection. If you have opinion on that question, you may render it.
The issue with the trunk was the time delay and us actually knowing where the truck was. And we did have our crime scene guy do, like you could do blood, check for blood on stuff with lights and glasses. And he didn't see anything that would have been overly impactful. So there didn't seem to be a reason to impound the truck.
Didn't you just say a second ago that he didn't look at the truck?
All right, I misspoke. I don't remember what he did, but now that as we're talking about it, I remember him looking at that type of stuff.
Blood and, what'd you say
Look-
else?
Looking for if there was blood
Okay, but he did do that, right?
I do believe so, yes.
And we'll go back and take a look at that.
Okay, I think, excuse me,
I
Mr.
was-
Tucker, but I think that this is about as good a stopping point for.
I think so too, Your
Greg
Honor.
as,
Thank you.
We're gonna find, so,
Section is, yes.
we're gonna break for lunch, folks. Again, we thank you for your patience, your attentiveness during our morning session. We're gonna resume at 1:30, so follow the usual cautionary instructions, return at 1:30, and we'll pick up from where we left off.
Hi, Aileen. Yes, I have 2 people watching. That's it. And it don't really matter to me.
Well, so, thank you for that heads up.
Judge, can I ask a quick scheduling question? You have the jury come back at 1:30. I've had Travis Johnson here all day yesterday, and I haven't here yet today. Do you anticipate we're going to get, that will be our next witness. Do you anticipate that we're going to get to him today and get started with him, or do you think it'd be more prudent to start fresh with him on Tuesday? I'm just looking for some guidance from the court. Do you want me to leave him here waiting? It'll be 1:30. Mr. Tucker has more cross to do yet. We have redirect.
Well, I guess that's kind of, Mr. Tucker's got to give us an idea of an estimate as to the
Well,
length of his remaining cross-examination.
thank you, Your Honor. That's why I actually did say to the prosecution that, I thought that this witness was probably going to take up the rest of the day. I was honest with them about that when we came back from break.
Well, so I think you could probably release,
For
Mr.
today.
Johnson, and we'll see him on Tuesday. I
All right,
guess.
sounds good, Judge. I'll make sure.
All right.
Okay, all right. This is what we're going to do. This is a case from 2017, Treehouse Murders. And let's watch the opening statement. Give me a minute. Because they're on break until 1:30.
Assistant State Attorney David Alvarez, and along with my colleague, Chief Assistant
State Attorney Joseph Mansfield will be conducting the presentation of the evidence on behalf of the state this morning and throughout the course of the trial. I'd like to start off by saying thank you for your participation in this process. It's very important, not only to the state, but to Mr. Tucker as well. So we thank you. And as the judge has already told you, the defendant is charged with a series of crimes. I'm not going to go over them again. We believe the evidence in this case will show that on or about November 17th of 2017, at 5650 Laurel Avenue, Stock Island, Florida, a place commonly known as the Treehouse, the defendant in this case, Mr. Franklin Tyrone Tucker, along with co-defendants Rory Wilson and Travis Johnson, planned and effectuated a robbery at that location, which at the time was the residence of Paula Belmonte. On said date, at approximately 7:45 or a little bit before there, these three individuals, and you'll hear testimony of this, the evidence will show this, that they actually spoke about how they were going to effectuate and pull off this robbery. They drove past the Treehouse once just to stake it out, came back. Defendants Wilson and Tucker put on their dark clothing and grabbed their weapons and their mask, and then got back into Mr. Travis Johnson's truck and drove to the Treehouse. The plan was, as you'll hear and the evidence will show, that Mr. Tucker and Mr. Wilson were going to go up the Treehouse, and the reason it's referred to as a Treehouse, it's a series of stairs that leads. I don't really want to say, I don't want to describe it as an apartment, but it's a place where people could sleep. It had tarps over it. It really didn't even have roofs. And I believe the victims in the case, Ms. Belmonte and Mr. Raggett, will explain that in detail, as well as some of the deputies that you'll hear from. But in the commission of committing this robbery, defendants Tucker, this actual defendant, Mr. Tucker and Mr. Wilson, went up into the Treehouse and held Ms. Belmonte and Mr. Raggett at knife point. Ms. Belmonte was held at knife point with a knife to her throat. During the commission of this robbery, her throat was slashed, and you will see pictures of her injuries during the course of this case. The state is going to be introducing photos of that. Mr. Raggett was also held at knife point. He was beaten, punched several times. He'll actually testify that he was knocked back into a tarp. At this time of the year, I believe in November, it wasn't quite fully dark yet. It was dusk, the sun was setting, but they were able to discern that the alleged perpetrators were coming up the stairs, and eventually what happened. In the process of committing this alleged crime, obviously in fear of their lives, Ms. Belmonte and Mr. Raggett were screaming in fear for their lives. And unfortunately, the crimes didn't stop there. A neighbor, Mr. Matthew Bonnet, heard the screams and decided to render aid, or at least try to assist in somehow. As he was coming up the stairs, the evidence will show that Mr. Tucker and Mr. Wilson confronted him. There was a struggle that ensued, and Mr. Bonnet was stabbed numerous times and eventually died from these injuries. The defendants then fled the scene. Defendant Johnson, who was waiting in his dark-colored pickup truck, a getaway driver, noticing that there was a commotion going on, decided to leave his two accomplices and drives away. They ultimately meet up at a warehouse where they were all residing together, probably about, I want to say about 500 or 600 feet from the actual Treehouse, where an argument ensued, and Mr. Johnson decided to walk down to the Tom Tom to get some cigarettes, where he met up with Mr. Detroit Wilson, Mr. Rory Wilson. You're going to hear from numerous witnesses during the state's presentation, and shall be presented with numerous exhibits of evidence for your review and consideration in this case. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the state is absolutely confident that at the conclusion of this matter, you will find that the defendant, Franklin Tyrone Tucker, is guilty as charged in the indictment and the amended information. Thank you.
Tucker, would you like to make an opening statement at this time?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you may do so.
Okay. That was a nice presentation. I'd say, by the way, good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. That was quite the story. But the problem is nothing in that story tells you what evidence they have, what evidence they're going to show. You know, how are they going to actually tie me into that story? Anyway, you know, the prosecution, you know, tells that story, but the problem is very little of that story is true. That's the bottom line. And, you know, yes, about the only thing that was true in that story is, yes, John Travis Johnson was there. That's a fact, right? This state witness, you know, they keep on saying he's the getaway driver, right? Out of all the evidence.
Object argumentative.
I'm going to
Okay.
sustain the objection.
Is it my
Again,
turn?
this is an opportunity to talk about what the evidence you expect will
Oh,
show.
that's where I'm going, Your Honor.
Okay,
Just give me a second, I'll get right there. I was actually just getting to that point. Out of all the evidence they show, all the witnesses they bring, where are they going to show he's the getaway driver? That's what you need to look at, right? Because the defense, you know, we can show all day, there is no evidence saying he was a getaway driver. We can also show that there's evidence that says otherwise. And that's what we do intend to prove. As far as the, you know, the evidence we intend to put on, we're going to, you know, put on the surviving victim, Ms. Paula Bellamont, who says, 100% sure it wasn't me that night. 100%.
When I served, my work was critical. And I don't
Hold
feel
on.
like that's the case anymore.
It got so bad that I was even thinking about suicide.
Whatever you're dealing with, call the Veterans Crisis Line.
Now, just as Mr. Alvarez said, you know, this is a woman who was brutally beaten, robbed, had her throat slit, you know, literally sat there and watched her friend get murdered viciously. But yet she is testifying on my side. Now, don't get me wrong, you know, what motivation could she have? Anyway, going down the line here, we're also intent on going ahead and, you know, calling a few other witnesses here. The next one after that is probably going to be Mrs. Angela Oslowski. Again, talking about evidence, right? Well, this is the woman who did the FDLE reports, the forensic evidence that, you know, that they submitted, right? All the evidence comes back. None of my DNA, none of my, my blood, none of my fingerprints, none of that stuff. Okay, so no forensic evidence, right? Okay, surviving victim says it wasn't me. Okay, so we'll go on down from there. The next one, Mr. Tom Walker from Internal Affairs, right? Now, Mr. Tom Walker goes ahead and investigates the investigation because of a complaint I made, right? A complaint that comes back sustained, right? Comes back as sustained for an investigation that was so poor, so poorly executed. 208 pieces of evidence were found to be mishandled by the MCSO, including DNA, including physical evidence, including video. 208 pieces of evidence. Now, he also goes ahead and goes beyond that. He goes on to show that, you know, that the original affidavit that was used to arrest me, the one that actually everybody relies on as far as what the police say happened, right? He goes ahead and investigates that. Unfortunately, guess what? That's not accurate either, according to him. that he actually goes ahead and investigates this and finds out that the original affidavit that was used to indict me, used to give me these charges and put me in front of you people, right? Not that I don't like you, but
Objection argumented again. I'll overrule that objection.
no, but yes, it put me here. And so he'll go ahead and show that that isn't exactly accurate, that it's filled with inaccuracies. It also has what they call material omissions, stuff that would be an exculpatory evidence to suggest that I wasn't there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and interview Mr. Tom Walker. We'll go ahead and put him on the stand. Then after that, we have Lieutenant Colonel Chad Scabilia, right? He's actually one of the higher ups in the MCSO. I don't know how familiar the jury is with that, right? I know we all know Rick Ramsey, but do we know Mr. Scabilia? Probably not. But he is one of the higher ups in the MCSO. He's in charge of their operations. He decides, as of January of 2019, he's going to go ahead and do an investigation of the entire major crimes unit, right? He's afraid that they're not living up to par. That's a good supervisor.
Object and ask for sidebar.
Okay.
Okay. I agree, he does speak well, and I did watch a little bit of him, interviews with him. So I'll be showing that later, but they're on lunch break right now till 1:30, which is Florida time. And so these are the opening statements, and yeah, we'll take it from there, you guys. We'll just do it as we go. Hope everybody's doing well. Approaches because someone said, yeah. He was just, he did an interview with some guy on YouTube. I got to find it again. And this was a week before the trial. There is other people, and I don't know their names yet. I'll figure it out, you guys, for you. And I don't know if they were, hold on, let me look. I got to say what I got to say right. All right. Katrina. Hey, girl, hey. Okay, let me get it here for you guys. Let's see.
1 second, I'm going to wait till the date settles in. I'm also going to advise the jury that I have overruled the objection, but I do want to remind you, this is opening statement. It's not evidence in the case, and it may or may not reflect what ultimately is evidence, and it will be up to you to decide the case based on the evidence. So keep that in mind, that this, and what I told you, the statements of the attorneys, it's not evidence. So with that, proceed with the vote.
Thanks. I'd also like to apologize for my tone. Obviously, I'm a little upset. You might understand. You might understand. Anyway, continuing forward, back to the Lieutenant Colonel Scabilia. His report, he goes ahead and he finds that there are a number of investigations in the major crimes unit that have not been sufficiently investigated, according to him. One of them, well, not one of them, out of the many that he finds, and Miss Danielle Malone, who we intend on putting on the stand, and to go ahead with this investigation. Yes, she's found to have, out of 17 active cases, 11 of them come up as insufficient, which we would argue mine is one of those. So we, we have quite a bit of evidence. We have quite a bit of evidence. I know that Mr. Mansfield asked you if you could convict me on one piece of evidence. Maybe that's true. I could see that, depending on what the evidence is. You got a video of me doing something, or I could see that. But what he failed to say is, okay, could you convict me on one piece of evidence when there's a lot of evidence that says something else? That's the question. And that's what we're going to try and get to with the defense, right? We're going to bring up witnesses, we're going to bring up evidence, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to challenge everything that the state is saying here, because I know it's not true. So in the end, that's what we're looking for here, right? We're looking for the truth. You know, they can present their case, I'll present mine, and we'll see what comes out as true. And then you guys can decide. And I know from looking at all of you and from going through our voir dire, yes, we'll decide correctly. Thank you.
Well, that was quick. Hold on. We are going to watch more. Hold on. Oh, shoot. Okay, what I'm doing is, hi, Grandma. This is a very interesting case. I'll get to the comments in a minute. That was the opening statement. That guy Franklin is representing himself, which I'm impressed so far. They're showing a bunch of ads, so I got it on mute. Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. Why isn't the... Hold on. This is so weird. I don't want a recap. Well, this is interesting. Hold on, I'll find it. Hey, Grandma. I'm having problems trying to find, I don't want the recap of it. I want us to watch it. Yeah. Well, because, when people, okay, if something bad happens to somebody on here, people put their stuff aside and, go help that person. Well, there's something that happened yesterday where they said someone died and you get emotionally involved, right? And then it triggered me because the same situation with my mom. So it triggered everything with my mom, and it triggered, I know what these kids are going through because I haven't been the same, and I'm older, way older than these kids. Yeah, we're gonna have a huge storm. Okay, you guys, have patience with me. I'm trying to find day one. The one we're watching is day two. Okay, here we go. This is going to be an interesting case. Thank you. I just, usually I'm way more with it, but not today. I'll be okay though. Okay, here we go. This is starting of day two.
Yes, sir. H.
States H. Is there any objection?
Here we go already. Objections.
Only because I haven't seen what videos are on the tape. I don't know what's on.
You guys, this is going to be a good one.
Did you want to confer with the prosecutor or?
Yeah, just for a second, because I'd like to see what's on the tape, what's on the back, just if I could. Oh, you're talking about the following two.
Grandma Franklin is representing himself.
I have definitely watched these videos thousands of times.
Objective. Moved up, exhibit H and F.
Is there any objection?
No.
All right, so H is admitted into evidence as the next in order, being number 8.
This time I would like to state would like to publish the videos.
All right, you can do it. And we'll
If court may allow, I think I can use one of our investigators just to, while I ask questions, he's going to.
work or the video.
Work them out, sir.
All right, that's fine. Mr. Tucker, if you don't have an adequate view from where you are, then you can position yourself where you were yesterday during the publication of the video.
I appreciate that, Your Honor. Thank you.
No. No.
There's a something behind you.
View these videos together and you can explain for the jury what they're looking at. Sure.
We all have to be mindful of keeping our voices up because that's stationary mic position. All right, let's roll.
gonna be, the other video is gonna be first.
Detective Malone, while we're setting up those videos, I just wanted to ask you a couple of quick groundwork questions. Did you have an opportunity to review the videos for evidentiary value?
I did.
And based on your training experience, they did reveal some type of evidentiary value that you can explain to the jury, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So
Well, there's no question.
Detective Malone, would you please direct Mr. Mueller to the exact location of the video that you would like to display to the jury?
can I have a copy of my report inside the timestamps? And not the-
If that'll refresh your recollection.
Yes, sir.
Do you have your report with you?
I do.
Okay, Judge, may they refresh your recollection?
Yes?
It's in my file.
Would you mind if I take a look at that, Your Honor?
What, sir?
Whatever report she's referring to.
The state would need to show to the defendant whatever document she's using to refresh recollection.
Thank you. Your Honor.
Please explain to the jury what exactly are we looking at right now?
Right now, we're looking at the still of the video camera from Cosme Marine, which is a business that is just off, right next door to the Treehouse. This is the marine lot here. Right here is a vacant lot.
I'm sorry, Mr. Tucker, what?
I was wondering, this isn't an official objection. I was just wondering if there's any way we can make it bigger for the jury to see. Because they've got it in a window that's just, there we go, full screen. That's what I was asking.
Okay, so this is the marine repair shop with their boats and their fence, their lot. This is their covering. Directly across the street, where you see the lights, here, this is the parking lot of CVS and then the CVS building. Right here at the time in 2017, this was a vacant lot. And right next to this boat is the fence for the yard, for the treehouse, for the residents for this.
Upon reviewing this video for evidentiary value, what junction, at what time stamp would you like the jury to be able to play the video for the jury?
The first timestamp will be 1943.
Can you explain for the jury what you're seeing, what the evidentiary value you found during the course of your investigation is?
Coming up here in a couple seconds, we're going to see a vehicle pull onto the screen coming from this way. Based on my based on the interview with the getaway driver, John Travis Johnson, he advised that he pulled up with.
Actually, you can't say it. Objection, Your Honor. Objection, Your Honor. She's speaking for the other witness.
I'm going to sustain the objection. That's
But I'm
it.
telling us what other people told you. Just explain what you want the jury to see and what evidentiary value, if any.
We're going to see a pickup truck pull into view and then pull up right in front of these folks. It'll be at 1943 in about 23 seconds.
What evidentiary value does that have, based on your investigation?
That it is consistent with the vehicle pulling up initially and then leaving and coming back a few minutes later.
It's consistent with the vehicle that's alleged to have gone to the treehouse in this case, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there anything of evidentiary value on this video?
At 19:45 and 15 seconds, the truck pulls back up in the same direction that it came from. Stops. You can see on the video right here, the light that it's there where the truck stopped. In about a minute, if that, a little less than a minute, you're gonna see in this portion right here, one person, two people walking towards where the treehouse is.
Will you play that?
You can see in that, in between, that little spot in between the two blocks, floats the light from the vehicle. And then you're gonna see one figure appear here ahead, and then the second figure appeared here, walking towards the trees.
Is there a second video that you,
Yes,
you
and
for evidentiary value? Strike that. Is there anything of value based on your training and investigation in this case on this video?
it's at 19:51 and 17 seconds.
What would the jury be looking at that portion of the video?
When this portion starts, you're gonna see from this direction where the tree house is, right next to this boat, you're gonna see something come out here with a flashlight.
Something or someone?
Somebody
Okay.
that has a flashlight in their hand. You're gonna see the flashlight bobbing as they go up this hill, this bank, to the CVS parking lot.
And if I'm asked while we're waiting for that, is that the light?
That's the gentleman going up in the parking lot.
And at the right of the screen, is the truck that pulled up still there, correct?
It appears to be, yes.
So just to recap, we see
Objection, Your Honor. It's speculative.
How about speculative, but it's asked and answered, so we'll go to the next
very
question.
well. Is there anything else of evidentiary value on this video?
On this video, this section of the video.
Okay, then let's move to the second video that you reviewed so that we can play for the jury, please. And describe for the jury what they're going to be seeing in this video, please.
This video is where that video just ended. This is picking up right there with the video. Video files are sometimes too large to do all at once. So especially surveillance, you get them in sections, and this is the next section of this.
Did you have an opportunity to review this video for evidentiary value?
Yes, sir.
And you need to
refresh your recollection with respect to the part of the video that's relevant for the truth.
Yes, if I could just look at the times. At, should be, what's that times, that's the good. Okay, I think it's good, because the time stamp 51:34, so it should be the very, like, last second of the first video. I'm sorry,
What about the previous video?
the previous video.
And what are we looking for here? What is evidentiary value of the truth?
Once we see the flashlight come up here, then we're gonna see person wearing all dark on it. It's very quick and it just happened. So, we're gonna see somebody come out from the treehouse. Right in here. And run that in the direction of where the truck was, where the truck had stopped.
Very well, thank you.
And then on the next video.
Ma'am, he has an next question.
Oh, just, excuse me, Judge, I was confirming with my.
I understand.
And on the second video, the second video for evidentiary value.
Yes, sir.
Please put that video, and please advise where we can go as far as timestamps to have the video material.
1951-51. And we're gonna see somebody come out this area and walk right here. And they're gonna walk up this way, and they're gonna eventually come up into the town.
What, if any, evidentiary value is that?
That was one of the subjects that was in the trailer at the treehouse.
Based on your training and experience and your investigation in this case, that's what you conclude.
Yes, sir.
With respect to this video, is there anything else of evidentiary value?
Yes. 1952 Kirby, you're gonna see the gentleman with the flashlight. That's gonna be up here, he's gonna come back down and walk back towards the treehouse. And then you can see the flashlight here, coming out, walking out this way. And then very shortly, we're gonna walk back up that way, and then the gentleman that we saw just walking out, he's gonna appear back on the street again up near the CVS parking lot.
Again, objection, Your Honor. She's saying it's the same person. She can't possibly tell that. There's no way she can tell that.
I'm going to overrule the objection. Certainly cross-examine her.
Yeah, and they're coming up into the CVS parking lot. And then right after that, at 1954 and 13 seconds, you're gonna see a subject again come from here, wearing all dark clothing, again heading in the direction where, towards Second Street, where the truck was parked in between these boats. He's gonna be lumbering. I guess is the best way to describe it. He's not not running, he's not walking, but he's lumbering. You'll see when it comes out. There. believe that is everything that's on these.
Very well. Okay, thank you so much.
In these videos, you just displayed for the jury. Did you do anything else in this case?
I also did the initial interview of Paula Belmonte.
We'll address that in a moment.
With respect to collecting any samples of DNA for swabs and testing, did you do any of that?
Yes, sir. I took the buccal swabs from Rory Wilson and Franklin Tucker.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Yes.
As far as collecting DNA swabs,
From potential suspects, is that a formal class that you go to? Do you learn it at the sheriff's department? Please explain for the jury how you did that, how you learned that.
When I came into major crimes, one of the more senior major crimes detectives walked me through it, showed me how to do it, and actually was with me the first couple times that I had taken buccal DNA swabs from subjects.
Okay, can you please describe that process for the jury?
So when we're taking a DNA swab, a buccal swab, they come in a sterile packet, and it's basically a Q-tip with the wood stick, and they're pretty long, about yay long. We ask the subject to open their mouth. We put on protective latex or nitrile gloves. We have the subject open their mouth. We open the sterile package. We insert the Q-tip into their mouth, onto the inside of their cheek. And then we do at least 3 circles, going like one way clockwise and then going counterclockwise in the other. Then we take that swab, we put it back into that sterile case. Then we put it into a small cardboard case that is specifically for buccal swabs, tape that up, and then we put it into a brown paper bag, and that gets taped up. We also do a second swab. We take the exact same process, another sterile Q-tip, and have the subject open their mouth, and then we swab the opposite cheek and making big circles, back into the cardboard box that gets sealed. The box gets labeled with date and time that we took the sample, who we took the sample from, and then them boxes go into the brown paper bag that gets all taped up and then gets labels printed onto it with barcodes for tracking for property.
You indicated that in this case, you took swabs from Mr. Rory Hank Wilson and also from Mr. Franklin Tyrone Tucker, the defendant in this case. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner, approach the witness.
Yes.
show you what's been previously marked as dates. Exhibit for identification I and J.
Yes, sir.
Look at it. Do you recognize those?
Yes, sir. I see my initials on the tape and on the label that was made on this one, and the same thing here. I see my initials on the edges of the tape, on the label, and again, the edges of the tape that's on the backside.
And exhibit I, which is the swab that was taken from the defendant, in this case, Mr. Tucker. Did you follow the same procedures just described for the jury?
Yes, sir.
Did you deviate from those procedures in any shape, fashion, or form?
No, sir.
Okay, same questions for State's Exhibit J. And that is the swab you took from Mr. Wilson. exact procedures that you described for the jury here?
Yes, sir.
Did you deviate in any shape, fashion, or form in any manner?
No, sir.
Judge, at this time, the state will remain, state that for I and J details. Is there any objection? Admit those as the next two in order be 9 and 10.
Have a moment, Judge.
Yes?
You can already tell that the state does not care for this man. Look at, he's all decked out. Look at his good clothing. He's got his earrings in. Yeah. Wait till I show you guys a video of him in an interview. He's entertaining. Yes, Nala is a sweet girl with an attitude. She's spoiled.
You indicated that you conducted some interviews in this case, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and without telling me the substance of those interviews, who did you interview?
I interviewed Paula Belamonte
Okay, and who else?
and Roger Ragut, I believe is how you pronounce his last
Okay,
name.
and did you have an opportunity to interview Rory Hank Wilson?
I was in the interview room at times during his interview, yes.
Okay, so you participated in the
I-
process?
Yes, sir.
Okay, at this time, I have no further questions for you. Thank you.
Cross-examination?
Here we go. Gonna get good.
Yes, is there any way I could get the, are you deputy now or?
No, I am not a deputy anymore.
Okay, okay. Well, Ms. Malone, could you please come up and help me with the video again? Because I wanted to go through the videos that you showed to the jury. So we can go ahead and go over your testimony.
So you want to publish that exhibit?
Yes, please.
What's that exhibit? You know? Yeah, the last video.
And I'd also,
State tape. Okay. Is that loaded up or does that have to be, I'm asking the state.
Your Honor, if I may, in order to do my cross-examination, I'm also going to need the video, the first Cosme's video.
I'm sorry, sir, I cannot hear you.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry. This mic doesn't seem to pick me up very well. Your Honor, I was also asking if I may, there's been a video that was entered into evidence yesterday with Detective Fernandez that, Ms. Malone is Ms. Malone is very well aware of that video too, and it's also, part of my cross, so.
Yes, sir. You certainly can utilize whatever's been admitted into evidence and.
Could we also queue up, I'm sorry, could we also queue up the?
Not really, I mean, it's you or the state perhaps can assist in terms of the publication of the video.
Yes, sir. We have no problem.
Thank you. So which one would you like to start with?
Let's go ahead and start with the first Cosmos video, if we could.
Okay, that's number 7.
That would be the one from yesterday that Fernandez, Detective Fernandez put in.
Apparently, he'd like to use number 7, if I understand correctly, the one that was submitted yesterday. Okay, there it is. So, now it's loaded.
Got it all. Oh, thank you. I forgot this. And if we could go ahead, and this is the first one, so let's go ahead and queue up to when the truck goes ahead and pulls up. I couldn't remember. Could you refresh my memory, Danielle?
19, 1943
1940.
in about 23 seconds. Mr. Tucker, do you want me over there?
That would actually help. I'd appreciate that. Okay, so this is the truck pulling up, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Parks there. We all agree on that, right?
Okay, please speak up.
I'm sorry, we all agree that truck's behind the boats, correct?
Yeah, I'll look behind the boat, yes.
Okay. Now, Ms. Malone, is this, did you say that you could see the driver in this video?
Of the truck, no, sir.
And never? Have you ever said that you can actually see John Travis Johnson sitting in the truck in this video?
No, sir, I cannot see him in this video.
Did you ever say you could?
No, I never said I could see him. I said I could deduce that it wasn't.
Okay. There's something else I'll have to qualify with the state later. Okay. Now, from this video, okay, you say this corroborates evidence of what? Again, just remind me.
Evidence. of
Objection to the question, Judge.
No, she testified.
I'm
Sorry.
speaking overrule the objection, so.
Okay. Ms. Malone, could you go ahead and just repeat for us what evidentiary value this video had?
Based on the confession from co-defendants and their testimony stating who was in the truck and what was happening with the truck.
Okay. Thank you for your answer. And could you explain to me how that testimony, that this is a truck, we all agree on that, it's coming up. How does this, again, corroborate his testimony about who is in the truck?
Because when he gave us his confession, he told us exactly what they did in the truck, who was in the truck, how they came out once to scout the place and then came back a second time, and that's when the people got out of the truck and approached the vehicles.
Okay. So that confirms, again, that he admits that he went around once. He admits that he went to the scene. But how does that, again, how does this video tell you anything about anybody that's in that truck?
Based on everything that I knew and know, that's who's in the truck.
Again, please tell me or tell the jury what report or what video you're referring to that tells you who's in that truck.
Objection, Judge. Asked and answered.
Yeah, that's been asked and answered. I'm going to sustain the objection.
Okay. Anyway, again, based on your training experience, you can tell who's in that truck. Okay, that's what you just said. Okay, just clarify. Okay, can we please go up to the next video? Okay, again, this video is what I'm sure you're very familiar with it, Ms. Malone. Could you please explain to us what this video is again?
This is the video from the Florida Keys electric surveillance.
Okay. And David Fernandez was the one who was tasked with retrieving this video, though, correct?
I believe so.
Okay, I just refreshing my memory here. Okay, but you're well aware of what's on the video, correct?
Yes, I have watched
Okay.
the video.
Okay. All right, please, if you would go ahead and just play it. We'll play it to when we see the person in the video. Okay, could we please stop there? Okay, now, based on your investigation, who is that in the video?
That is John Travis Johnson, and I'm not certain. I just have much.
Okay, just refresh. Clarify for the jury. At the time you were, what level were you on the investigation as far as it being in charge or making decisions, please? I'm just trying to, again, I don't know the ranks of the MCSO. So,
I was assisting in the investigation. I was an assisting detective.
okay, and so in the hierarchy, it would have been Captain Phelps, Detective Pitcher, then yourself, correct? Oh, no, I'm sorry. I forgot about Sergeant Kellenberger. He would have been in between, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so it would have been Pitcher then you, correct?
Yes.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure I understand. Okay, so again, you know who was in the video based on the investigation, not just from the video and surveilling the video, but again, from your position in the investigation, correct?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, and who did you guys think was this person in this video originally when you originally were investigating? Very beginning, when you were developing suspects?
I really don't recall.
Okay, do you recall Captain Phelps? Or again, I seem to remember, but we'll figure that out later. But do you remember Captain Phelps saying anybody was in this
Objection,
video?
you say.
Sustain, and
Sustain the objection.
I'll withdraw. Yes, let's go ahead and, again, from your understanding, this is John Travis Johnson, correct?
Yes.
Okay. We please continue the video, but we're going to have to go. It's an unknown timestamp. We went to it yesterday. I just don't remember the timestamp on the video. But that's John Travis Johnson. And which way is he heading right now?
It's like a walk from where I myself, I'm not. Don't go to Staff Island very often. So that's apartments. He should be headed towards Tom Thumb. And then from Tom Thumb is the fire station.
This is the treehouse.
The treehouse
Okay.
and West Orange.
So yes, but it's all not that far, correct? I mean, it's like within a block of each other, or something like that, right?
Yeah, like what, a block, maybe two.
Okay. All right, so he's heading up towards the treehouse, right? Towards Tom Thumb Fire Department treehouse, right?
Yes, sir, he's headed in that direction.
Okay.
Judge, if I may, could we ask Mr. Tucker just?
Oh, I'm so
The jurors on the
sorry.
end could have a clear
And if-
view of the video.
And if you may, if you like, a closer look. And let's see, I hate to say how far we would have to go. Danielle, could you remind me what timestamp the next one
I
is?
don't have these timestamps for this video.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. I was just trying to speed this. I would like to say it's 23. So. Yeah, it's like 18. Actually, it's getting ready to turn 23 now. Just might as well play it. Now, maybe while we're waiting, you could, yeah, I can. Okay, this is what we're looking for. Okay, wait, let's wait till they get in the light before we pause it. Okay, could you please pause it right here? Okay, now, do you know who the two individuals in this video are?
John Travis Johnson.
Okay, and
The other one, I'm not certain.
okay. Has anybody admitted to being the person in this video during your investigation?
Objection called for hearsay.
Sustain the objection.
Just, I was going based on the investigation, whether or not she knows who that person is, not just what's in the video.
Same objection.
Well,
Okay.
it's a different question. I'll allow that question.
Ms. Malone, I'm sorry. Based on your entire investigation, right? You investigated the Treehouse case from when until when?
From that day until sometime in 2019.
2019, okay. So it was 2017 is when it happened. So 2019 is when you finished, you haven't worked the case since then, correct? Okay, good. All right, so during the investigation, did you guys ever identify who's in this video?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, all right, we'll go ahead and leave it at that. But you do know it's John Travis Johnson, correct? Or at least that you believe that.
I believe it was him.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, can we go ahead and re-queue up the video, the last video? I forgot something on there, if I may.
So now we're shifting to
Yep.
number 8, the one that was admitted this morning.
Yeah, yes, I'm sorry, yes, Your Honor. Okay, and if we could go, I don't know if you remember the timestamp, when the truck comes up and they get out.
23?
Okay.
1943, or, no, 1943. I'm sorry, I'm dyslexic.
I just wanted to clarify a few things, just to make sure. So- All right, then, thank you. Okay, so in this video, we see a truck, right? I would agree it's a truck. I think even the state said it's a truck, right? Okay, you know this is John Travis Johnson's truck because he told you it's his truck, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just making sure.
Uh, 1944. It's about a minute ahead from the back.
Just to be clear, the jury's not having any hard time seeing any of this. Okay, just want to make
You
sure.
all tell me if you are having any difficulty seeing. You can't
Okay.
see it.
Should we move this
Okay.
up closer, Your Honor?
Excuse me?
Should we move the screen a little closer to the jury?
We're able to, you know.
To help you see better.
That's about as good as it's going to get, and I do want to, remind the jurors, just like all other evidence that's introduced during the course of the trial, it will be available for your deliberations. So merely because it's being published now isn't your only view of it. So during your deliberations, you'll have the ability to view, like I said, this evidence as well as all the other evidence that's introduced during the whole trial. Yes, sir.
Is there any way you can enhance it, make it larger or more?
Sir,
I'll get a
that
little bit
answer,
bigger.
I'm sorry, Mr. Tucker,
I'm sorry.
please, that answer is.
I don't think the judge cared for him too much.
Okay. And can we go ahead and full screen it for him so it's easier to see? Oh, is it? Okay. All right. Go ahead and just play from there. Okay, so Chuck pulls up Parks. Now, again, you say there's two subjects that come out of the car, right? This is, apparent because we can't see it, but apparently they came out of the truck. Okay. Okay, could you please pause it right here? Okay, we see two subjects. I would assume, I'm hoping the jury can see this. Again, is that what you describe as two subjects?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And could you describe who those two subjects were based on what you see right here?
It would be Mr. Wilson and Mr. Tucker,
Okay, and how would you know that?
based on everything I know.
But not what's in the video. I'm asking you to
You gotta
testify.
let her finish her answer,
Sorry.
please. Anyway, did you finish your answer?
I know that it's them two people based on all the evidence that I knew at the time when I wrote my arrest affidavit.
And to be clear, did you write your arrest affidavit after seeing this video or before seeing this video? I'm
After
curious.
seeing this video.
Okay. And you know that it's those two subjects based on not what's in the video. I'm asking you to testify exactly what's on the video right now, not what you learned from your investigation. What can you see in the video?
Two subjects walking to the trails.
Exactly. Okay, just making sure. Two subjects walking towards the treehouse, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You can go ahead and take this video off and then go to the next one in this series, if you would.
Nope, the judge don't.
I think that's it.
No, I'm
Like
sorry.
them.
That would be the other one.
He shouldn't be yelling at him
I'm
though.
looking for
You don't
the
have that right.
Cosmics videos, please. Oh, they still have it up there. I guess we would have to return this one first. Imagine. Could we get the flash drive that was with the videos that the state just submitted?
So we're looking for number 8.
Yes, it's just that the series started with this video and then two others.
Finished with number 7.
Yes, I'm finished with all the videos on this one.
Okay, so we can exchange number 7 for number 8.
See this, is this the one where we see the subject that's running with the flashlight up the hill? Is that this video?
No, that's the very tail end. I mean, you do at one point, but not the initial time.
Let's take a look at this.
So
Well,
you want,
let's take a look at this one, and then if we need to, we'll go to the other. Okay, it's coming down the hill. I see. Okay, so according to your investigation, who was that subject running down the hill?
Mr. Tyrone.
Okay, just making sure. So that's according to the investigation. But again, just to clarify, can you see that that's Todd O'Quinn in this video?
No, not
Okay,
without
just making
everything
sure.
else.
Okay, but that's based on your investigation. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, if I remember correctly. You're to see another subject come out. If I remember correctly. If you would refresh my memory, is this?
Yes,
Okay, again, can we pause for a second? Okay, who's this? Who do you suspect, based on your investigation, that is?
I believe that is Roosevelt, Washington.
Okay, you believe that's Roosevelt, Washington. Okay, but from the video, again, you can't see that that's Roosevelt, Washington, right?
Correct.
Okay, just want to say, okay, clarify those two things. Okay, and is there anything else of evidentiary value on this that you remember?
There's the last part where the subject is leaving the treehouse and you see kind of lumbering.
Okay, let's go ahead and we'll let it go to that point. I don't know offhand.
If I can,
Yes, if you may, please.
Yes.
1954.
I've seen this judge before in other
And
jury
just to
trials.
clarify, Ms. Malone, you're reading from the official affidavit that you wrote, correct? There's a person that just ran up the hill. Could we please back it up a little bit? Okay, there's somebody right there at the top. Oh, there, right there. See somebody who came running up the hill? Can you pause that, please? Again, according to your investigation, who do you believe that is?
That one, I'm not sure who that was.
So it's an unknown party, and they could, again, even though we've accepted that, these people are running from the treehouse, we can't actually see that, correct?
What, the treehouse?
Yeah, the treehouse proper, the property.
No, you can see kind of where the fence is here.
Right, but you can't see the gate where people go in and out or anything like
No.
that. Okay, just checking. And so you don't know who this subject is, though, but we're going to assume that they came from the treehouse too, correct?
Probably, yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Again, I think she believes there's another one on here, if I remember
There's
correctly.
one more.
Okay. Go ahead.
10 seconds.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you. Okay, right there, if you would. Okay, if you back up just a little bit. Just we want to make sure we have the person as best view that we can give them. Right there, pause. Okay, so we can kind of see the top of the head here, correct?
yes, sir.
Okay, and we both agree that that's a subject walking away from the treehouse location, right?
Yes, sir.
Where, not necessarily from the treehouse, but from that location. Okay, again, so this subject, according to your investigation, again, who's the subject?
That subject is Roy Wilson.
Roy Wilson, okay. And again, but you can't see that that's Roy Wilson, right? Is there anything in this video where you can actually see that's Roy Wilson in this video?
His body shape, barrel chested.
Okay, it's a big man, but there's a lot of big men out there. Can you see that that's Roy Wilson?
without doing everything that I know.
Again, not based on your investigation,
It's a person
just the
going to
video.
treehouse.
Just from the video, not from your investigation. I'm saying, looking at this video right now, you can tell me based on this picture that that's Rory Wilson. No. Okay. That's all we need. No, just no. Okay. And then, but based on your investigation, you're thinking that might be Rory Wilson.
I know.
Okay. Gotcha. Just checking. Okay. We can go ahead and queue up to the next in the Cosma's videos. Yeah, that would be the second one. Yeah. I think that would be it. Okay.
This is going to be the one that starts at like 42.
Thank you.
Holy crap. This is crazy. Now, that judge seems really irritated with Franklin. I hate it when you get like law enforcement, you're the people from the courtroom, to talk to you like that. I think it's messed up. Just saying. The jury will pick up on stuff like that too. And wait till we go over his court documents, because it's an interesting case. Oh, come on already. I know you're always here, Grandma. And I love you for that.
Oh, this is back to the first video. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, I was like, I'm looking at it. I'm like, something should have happened by now. Okay. So we're back to the first video. Again, we can go ahead. I keep on referring it to it as the second video only because as I've looked at it, it was always the second video. But if you could bring up the ones that they actually put up today, we'll go ahead and take one from there. This is the one that was introduced yesterday.
It's the same video.
Oh, it's the same video, which is just different on this one. Okay. All right. And so we have that one. We saw the one where, again, you believe it's Rory Wilson. Is there anybody else that's seen coming from that direction on those videos?
In that manner.
Or just in any manner? Now, again, different subjects coming to and from the treehouse. Or at least the treehouse location, the same direction.
There's the gentleman that we introduced, Mr. Washington.
Okay.
There's the gentleman with the flashlight.
Okay. Let's get down to the point. This will be better for everybody.
Oh my God.
I'm sure we're all sick of
I'm
it.
doing everything I can to turn up on my end. Sorry.
We'll sustain the objections, disregard the commentary.
Okay. Sorry, Your Honor. Apologize to the prosecution. Okay, we looked at these videos. In these videos, just taking these videos as a video that you're watching right now, to clarify, you cannot identify a single person in those videos, can you? Erasing your knowledge, erase the investigation. Just be the jury. What can you see in these videos?
Subjects going to and leaving the treehouse
Okay.
area.
The area, the location. Right, I'm just clarifying, correct?
Yes.
Talking about the location. Okay. But you can't identify a single person in those videos. Correct?
Absent all knowledge of everything.
Absent your knowledge.
Yes, you can't see faces in those.
Okay, good. That's all I wanted to clarify. Okay, if you would, we can go ahead and we'll be done with the videos for right now. I am going to have to clarify something with the state or qualify something with the state later. If you would, thank you.
They got to do something about that sound. What is going on?
I'm not agreeing.
Look at the judge.
If I have to.
He's
Danielle?
going to be
Miss Malone,
grumpy.
I'm sorry, be disrespectful. Ms. Malone. Now, you just told me that you agree. There's nothing, you can't identify a single person in that video, right?
I
Ask
agreed,
and
Matt.
answer, Judge objection.
Okay.
I'm gonna sustain it.
Okay.
That's been established.
Okay, good. I'm just making sure we have that established. Okay, but when you wrote your affidavit, you did put that it timestamped this, timestamped that, you could see exact people, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and those two, the people, I'm sorry, the people that you attributed it to in your affidavit, who would those be?
The subjects that I named as getting
Yes.
out of the truck,
Okay, yes.
that would be Rory Wilson and Franklin Tucker.
Okay, Roy Wilson and Tyrone Tucker, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. And you said that your investigation led you to write that in the affidavit, but to put those timestamps in there saying that you could see those people in that video, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what was your investigation prior to obtaining these videos?
I believe I would have to look at an exact timeline, but I believe that was day 5.
That'd be day 5 in the investigation,
Yes, sir.
right? Okay, day 5 in the investigation, what evidence did you have saying that I took part in this crime?
The confession of John Travis Johnson, the
Okay.
getaway driver.
Okay, and what tells you he's the getaway driver?
He told us.
Okay,
and
so
his-
you're basing it solely on what he told you.
No,
Okay, what other evidence did you have to suggest that he's the getaway driver?
oh, that he's the that he told us.
Okay, that he told you. That's
Yes,
it.
sir.
Simply as that. Okay, and was he the one who actually said it first, or did one of the other investigators say it before him?
I don't recall.
Okay, you don't recall. Just making sure. Now, were you actually present when John Travis Johnson was, when he was actually interviewed?
I was present for some of it, not all of it.
Okay.
Hold on.
okay. You
Hold on. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. No. Again? Come on. No. Okay. We will go back to what we were watching. Yeah. No, another 10 minutes. I don't know what's going on. Hold on. Hold on. Look at this. This detective looks like she's going to cry. Hold on. We're going back to what we were watching. I started from the beginning of today. Watch.
I don't believe she answered that question.
Actually, she did.
Okay. Well, okay, so then we can move on. All right. So that's the extent of the investigation at that point that you know of. Okay. Anything else from the investigation prior to that, as far as your handling of evidence, your handling of videos? What was your duties in the investigation in those first 5 days?
Well, multiple. We did the first day,
Okay.
that night,
That might be the easier.
I was directed to go interview the the living victim, Paula Lamonte, in the hospital. I stayed with her the entire time she was in the hospital. And then I went with Sergeant Kellenberger, and we went and found Roger Ragu at his place of business, the Key West Golf Course.
This would be the first night, right?
This is the first night.
Anything else the first, oh, anything else the first night?
Not particularly. I was,
Oh, can we put a pause right there for
Yep.
just a second? I'm so sorry. Okay, so the first night you went to interview Paula Belamonte at the hospital.
yes, sir.
Okay. And during that interview with Paula Belmonte, did she tell you anybody who she thought, any suspects, any identifiers?
Section here, say
Sustained.
Okay. Say that it was me.
Same objection.
I'm going to sustain the objection.
I was asking because she's the one who completed the interview. Got it.
Objection of both.
Okay.
I'm sustained.
Okay. All right. So again, you did that. Then you went and you did another interview. What did you do after that?
We canvassed the area, that street, Laurel Avenue.
Okay.
I believe when I went home that night was about 4 or 5 a.m. the next morning.
Okay. And then you came back the next morning and
Next morning, I don't remember what time, but it wasn't late. It was before noon, I believe. We came back to the scene. And I believe it was that day, the next day, that Key West CSI finished up with the actual scene.
so it's the second day.
Yes, the second day.
Second day. And you came at around noon, you said?
I don't remember the exact time.
Now it was, when you did come back on that second day, were you at the treehouse or were you canvassing someplace else? What were you doing again?
I was at the treehouse. I walked almost all of Stock Island
Oh, yeah, I can believe it. Okay.
that day, looking for,
Okay. So, you know, you guys were just looking for evidence around
Yeah.
the neighborhood, that kind
Yes,
of
sir.
stuff. Okay, gotcha. All right, were you there for Detective Pitcher's interview of Todd O'Quinn?
that,
At-
the
at the
initial night.
treehouse, you know, at the treehouse location.
That initial, the first night, I was there for,
Oh, okay.
I believe, a very small portion of it.
Of Todd O'Quinn's interview?
Yeah, the
Okay.
initial one that night, yes.
Oh, thank you. I wasn't aware of that. Okay, the second, I was talking about the second interview during the daytime. You did it at the treehouse, and I would assume you would have been there just because, you know, it's about the same time.
I don't recall being there for that interview.
I just didn't know.
I put like 8 miles on my shoes that second day walking
so you
Stock
weren't-
Island.
Oh, I'm sorry. So you weren't there.
No, sir.
Okay. Now, were you there when they brought Miss Paula Belamonte to the treehouse that day,
The second day?
second day?
No, I brought her to the treehouse that night when she got released from the hospital,
And,
but not the second day.
and why'd you bring her back to the treehouse that night?
They wanted to get, I believe, fingernail scrapings.
You know, okay, but you didn't bring her back the second day.
No,
Okay, and you weren't present when they did.
no,
Okay, good. All right, and were you there when Miss Anthea Clay was there
maybe.
on the second day?
No, not on the second day. Maybe that initial night.
Oh, the first night. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first night you were there when they brought Anthea Clay to the crime scene.
I don't know. I wasn't there when they brought her to the crime scene, but she may have been around
Okay.
that night.
Okay, and according to your offense report, your affidavit, who is Miss Anthea Clay?
Anthea Clay was, I guess, a roommate at some point with Paula and Matthew Bonnet.
Mhm.
I'm not certain where she stayed on the property, but she stayed there at some point and had just left like very recently.
Okay, and,
for that incident.
okay, but in the affidavit you wrote, was she ever named as a suspect?
Yes, Paula stated that she believed Anthea Clay had something to do with setting up the robbery.
Was Paula the only one?
Objection called
That's-
for hearsay.
Just asking what she wrote in her report.
I'll overrule the objection.
That told me
Well,
that she's the only one I remember.
Okay, I'm referring back to your affidavit again. Like, remember, we were talking about your affidavit earlier.
Mhm.
I'm referring back to your affidavit. In your affidavit, in your statement, about the investigation, did you say that, somebody else besides that actually named her as a suspect?
I don't recall.
We'll have to take a look at the affidavit again. Okay, so you've got Anthea Clay, you saw her the first night, correct?
I think I may have seen her.
Okay, good. And on that first night, okay, you said Paula named her as a suspect, correct?
Yes,
Okay, and they brought her to the crime scene that night. You were there for that.
no, I believe I was with Paula still.
I thought you said, I'm a little off. Okay, maybe it's just me. But okay, so they brought her back down there, again, did you see her leave when she left the crime scene?
No,
Okay. Do you know where she came from before she got to the crime scene?
no, sir.
Okay. But they didn't arrest Anthea Clay.
No, sir.
Okay, just check. All right, so they didn't arrest her. Did they ever bring her back in for an interview that you know of?
I wasn't a part of it, but yes, I do believe they interviewed her at some point.
Okay. They interviewed her at some point. Do you remember approximately what?
Probably a year or so after.
A year or so?
Afterwards.
Year or so afterwards?
Yes, sir.
After what? Oh, after the crime happened?
After the crime happened,
Okay.
yeah, 2019-ish.
Okay, so after the crime happened. And, you can't recall if she was named a suspect in your affidavit.
Objection's been asked and answered.
I'll overrule the objection.
I wrote in my affidavit that Paula stated that Anthea Clay had set up the robbery.
Were there any CIs that they talked to in the affidavit?
Yes,
Confidential informants?
yes,
Okay, and did this confidential informant say that Anthea Clay was a suspect?
Objection, hearsay.
If it's in the affidavit, I'll overrule it, if that's what you're asking about.
That's exactly what I'm at.
I believe I wrote that in my affidavit. I'd have to
So that would
Look
be a
at it
second
to-
person. that said she-
refresh.
I'm sorry.
I'd have to look at it to refresh. That's,
Okay, and we may very well do that. That might be a good idea.
okay.
If we could refresh the witnesses, would that be fine, Your Honor?
Um, Haven't quite asked the proper question, but in any event, we're looking at the report, refresh your recollection.
Yes, sir.
You have your report there?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Let us know when you've reviewed it and your recollection has been refreshed, then close it up. And is your recollection
Yes, sir.
refreshed?
Ma'am,
Question.
ma'am, now we've refreshed your recollection. Do you remember a CI that says the same thing?
Yes, the
Okay.
CI stated that Paula had set up Anthea Clay and didn't return it. And it sounded like it was a drug deal that money didn't get exchanged. So in return, Anthea set up the robbery as payback.
Okay, so that's what's in the affidavit, is that Anthea Clay was setting this up as payback for something that Paul had done to her, allegedly.
Yes, sir.
All right, and that's in the rest affidavit. So that's definitely naming her as a suspect, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, again, you just told me a second ago that they interviewed Anthea Clay, but it wasn't until way after, correct?
Yes, sir, I believe so.
Year and a half, 2 years, something like that? Is that, I'm not sure if I heard correctly. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I believe it was in sometime in 2019.
So 2019 from a crime that happened in 2017.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did anybody, that you know of, I mean, did they try to apprehend Miss Clay? I mean, was there a warrant out for her arrest? I mean, she's a suspect.
No,
Okay. So to your knowledge, nobody ever put out a warrant for her.
no,
Okay. And did they ever do any other work trying to find Miss Clay? I mean, did they, what attempts were made to find this murder suspect?
we never got to the point to classify her as a murder suspect, and I am unfamiliar with what attempts were made. That wasn't in my scope of the investigation to locate her.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. If I remember right, your scope in the investigation, you're right below the lead detective, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And it wouldn't be in the scope of your investigation to know where a murder suspect is.
Again, Anthea Clay never became a murder suspect during the course of our investigation.
Well, didn't you just tell me you had a witness that literally stated that, she set this crime up as payback?
Ask and answer.
Okay.
I'm going to overrule the objection.
Yes, we had two people that told us that Miss Clay had potentially set up this robbery to occur as
Oops, I'm sorry. Did you ever make any attempts to interview her? Bring her in for an interview or to talk to her?
I did not. That was not part of my job in this investigation.
Okay. Did you know of anybody, besides yourself, who may have done this?
I don't know.
Okay. So to your knowledge, they don't interview her, pick her up or interview her until 2019.
I know that's when she got interviewed.
Okay. And did they arrest her after the interview?
No, sir.
Okay. And was the evidence still the same, or did it change, or is there a reason why she wasn't arrested?
Because she never rose to the level of a murder suspect in this investigation.
Two witnesses saying that she was?
Objection argumentative.
I'll sustain the objection.
Okay. Now, did you know, I want to know a little bit more about this Anthea Clay thing, just a little bit. Okay, it's Treehouse, I think I asked you if you were there, if Miss Clay, when she was brought back to the Treehouse on the second day. You said no, correct?
Correct.
Okay, good. Okay, so you weren't there for this, but did they find any evidence that you know of from Miss Clay at the Treehouse on the second day that you know of?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Were you ever made aware of writings on a wall that were on the Treehouse wall?
Yeah, in like 2019, I believe.
You were made aware of those in 2019.
Yes,
Okay, so you didn't know anything about those until then.
correct.
Okay, good. And what were these writings on the wall purported to be?
Honestly, I don't
Remember
know.
what they were?
No,
Okay.
sir.
And do you remember what evidentiary value they had?
No, sir.
Okay, so I don't know, you said you saw pictures, is that correct?
I may have seen a picture, but not that I recall. It was like spray paint words on a wall.
Okay, but you don't know who wrote them and you don't
No,
know?
no, sir.
Okay, were you there for when they interviewed Miss Anthea Clay?
I was not.
So that would have been who interviewed her? Just out of fresh in my memory.
I believe that was Captain Phelps, Detective Corey, and maybe Detective Moeller.
Okay. All right. So, that would be Detective Mueller, Detective Corey, and Captain Phelps.
Yes, sir.
All right. And, okay. Again, we're back to the beginning of the investigation again. So the first night you said you went to, took care of Paula. And then the next night, and then after that, it was Roger Roget, right? And you interviewed him. Okay. So what did you do on the second day besides canvas? Anything?
I believe that was it.
Just canvassing for evidence, and you didn't find any?
No, I didn't.
Okay, what evidence were you there? What evidence were you there for when it was gathered?
I believe it was the second day they found a mask and a boat.
Okay, but you didn't collect it, somebody else did. Who was it that collected that evidence? Do you remember?
I don't know. I wasn't there when they found it. I just was told they found it.
Okay, so you're told they found him. Oh, you didn't actually see it.
I saw it
Oh, okay.
as
So,
we were waiting for the crime scene detective, whichever one it was, come and get it.
okay, so someone come and bag it and tag it, right?
Yep.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so, but you never found any evidence on that second day?
No, sir.
Okay, what'd you do on the third day?
I believe more walking and canvassing Stock Island.
Do you remember knocking on any doors? I mean, do you remember what neighborhood you were canvassing in, where you were?
We were walking, a good majority of the time was in Water's Edge Trailer Park. That's not there anymore, but it was just down the street from where the treehouse was.
Okay.
In that area, and then focusing on Second Street that goes past Tom Thumb, the fire station, Florida Keys Electric, and then the warehouse
Okay.
in that area.
So just that little part of the neighborhood in Stock Island.
Yes, that general area.
You just kind of reminded me something about the Florida Keys Electric video. That was, for the record, was that the video that I had you replay up there? The moment, we were talking about Travis Johnson, that stuff.
Yes, I believe that was the Florida Keys Electric video.
Okay, just want to make sure. And how much time of the video did they give? How much time did you guys collect? Do you remember?
I
on
don't
that
know.
video?
I don't know.
You don't remember? Okay, yeah, you weren't the one who collected that. I forgot. But do you know of any more than the 7? I think it's 7 minutes. I want to say, but whatever that video is in length. Did you guys ever get any more from Florida Keys Electric that you know of?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, so not to your knowledge. Okay, so we're back to, you're canvassing the neighborhood and you're going through all the different locations, that are close to there, I guess. Was it the Tom Thumb, the fire department, the treehouse, and you said Water's Edge Trailer Park. Okay, so you didn't find anything in those areas, is what you told us. This would be the third day, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we're on the third day, nothing there. What'd you do on the fourth day?
The fourth day, I believe I spent a good majority of the time watching surveillance videos.
Okay, watching videos. And what were the surveillance videos? Did you collect them yourself, or did somebody bring them to you, or?
Most of them were brought to us by different detectives.
All right, it's different detectives bringing them in from different places, right? Like the CVS or whatever, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, gotcha. But you're reviewing them, checking them out to see what you find.
Yes,
right?
sir.
Okay, gotcha. And okay, so while you're doing this, these surveillance videos, again, which places were you actually reviewing? Was it which videos?
It was mainly CVS's.
The CVS's videos?
Yes.
Okay, and did you collect all the tapes from CVS, or did they give you all the tapes from CVS?
I believe so. There's hours upon hours.
I seem to remember the same thing.
Yes.
Okay, now, but you believe they gave you all the video footage they had from CVS?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and there weren't any cameras broken? There weren't any cameras that were malfunctioning or anything like that?
Not that I recall.
Okay, good. And did you find anything in the CVS videos that you were reviewing?
No, sir.
Okay, so they weren't really of evidentiary value, is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other videos besides CVS?
At that time, no, I don't believe so. I believe it was
Just,
mainly the CVS videos.
okay. So just the CVS videos, this would be, what, the fourth day? Fourth
Yes,
day?
yeah,
Okay.
the fourth day.
So what'd you do on the fifth day?
The fifth day, I believe, is the day that I assisted with the photo lineup
Okay.
with Tyrone Quinn. We also got the Cosme video
Okay.
on the 5th.
Okay, they're back. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. What is going on here? You know what? Grandma, I'm just going to keep this on here because you see them on other screens and I'm not seeing them here yet, but I am on other channels. So there you have it. Okay. Oh, God. Man, I got a headache. Okay, come on, Core TV. I don't know. You know what? I found some documents, of course, and I'm going to go through it all. Here we go.
Well, I gave some extra time, so hopefully we're ready to proceed.
I appreciate it, Your Honor. There's one video that's still downloading, keeps on wanting to resume or whatever, but I figured since I don't want to waste time, there's some things that don't need to require the videos that I'd go proceed with those, and wait for the video later.
Okay, bring in the jury, please.
Okay, crabby judge. Right? But anyways, I got some documents I want to go over about this case. Yeah, jury's coming in. So I got to think of a name for the judge. And then you got the state objecting over and over and over again. What is going on? Probably, Grandma. You know it. You know me. You know me very well. Get it going. Get it going, woman. Let's see.
All jurors present in courtroom, Your Honor.
Thank you. Please be seated, everyone.
Okay, I'm going to shut up. Thank you for making me laugh.
Good afternoon, members of the jury. Welcome back from lunch. Hope it was pleasant. Thank you for your patience. We had to attend to a couple other details, so I know you waited in the jury room patiently, and I do appreciate it, but we're ready to continue with the cross-examination and the latest witness, that's State versus Tucker. If we can, witness, please come back on the witness stand. Good afternoon, and I'll just remind you, you're still under oath.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we can proceed with the continued cross-examination.
All right. Good afternoon. Thank you guys for being patient. It's been a little rough with technical things. Ms. Malone, now you said you are no longer a detective, no longer a homicide detective. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And what department do you work in now?
I still work for the sheriff's office. I work in the 911 center.
Okay. Is that a civilian position or is that a batch position?
It's a civilian position.
Okay. And how did you come to be in that position?
I requested to go into dispatch.
Okay. Do you recognize this approach?
Well, has State seen the document?
It's impeachment.
Well, regardless.
Well, I kind of see how this trial's going to go, huh, Grandma? So here you got the state and the judge against this man. Just saying.
Yes.
Oh, now they're going to approach. There's something they don't like. Wow. You see, okay, I gotta choose my words carefully here. Hold on, let me think. Well, it's really no big deal. I'm, I am, I am. The video ain't right. That's all that matters. Well, I don't know, man. The video ain't right. Oh my God. Hold on. Let me go and come back in. Hold on.
Let's just let the state get seated and then you may approach the witness.
Let me know if they're echoing, please.
Okay?
May I look at the other? Yes, I have. It is a letter of recommendation from, I believe it was Major Shabuya, that I no longer be a major crimes detective.
Okay, now you just testified that this move down to dispatch was voluntary, correct?
It was, yes.
Okay, but Major Scabilia is your boss, correct?
He's the boss of pretty much everybody at the sheriff's office, yes.
Okay, and in this letter, he's making a recommendation that what?
That I not be a detective, but I still was going to be a cop.
Did he give you were still going to be a cop?
Yes,
Okay, but you just told me you're not in a badge position.
because I requested a non-badge position.
Okay, good. Just want to clarify that. Okay, what else did it say in this report, this recommendation for you? Why did he give, what reason did he give as to why he didn't want you to be a major crimes detective?
I had fallen behind on paperwork on some of my cases in 2019.
Okay, and how many cases was that?
I don't know the exact numbers.
Do you remember reading this recommendation?
5 years ago.
Okay. Would you like me to refresh you and let you look at it?
There are currently 11 cases out of 17.
Okay, and 11 cases out of 17 is what he says. And as now, he didn't say they were for paperwork. What did he say they were for?
I didn't read that far.
Okay, well,
Investigated deficiency, I believe was one of the words he used.
well, did he say, these are two examples?
Objection, hearsay, waiting for the documents.
Yeah, I'm going to sustain the objection.
Okay.
I think we've gone
Okay.
within the bounds of what I allowed with respect
Okay.
to this
Um,
area.
Well, being that you just read this, it wasn't over paperwork, correct?
It was over paperwork.
Okay, that's, again, for impeachment purposes, Your Honor.
She's been impeached. You've established the basis for the employment situation, and
Except for that is not the correct reason why she was fired, or not fired, was demoted. According to this document I just showed her.
Mr. Tucker, I've
I'm
made
gonna
my
object to
decision.
Mr. Strikey's comments.
Over the objection from the state, I allowed you to show her, I
Okay.
allowed you to
Okay.
talk and question her, but that's as far as
Okay.
I think the rules allow.
Okay. Did your boss discuss this with you at all?
No.
I'm sorry, he was major at the time, right? He's a lieutenant colonel now, right?
Yes.
Did Major Scabelia, did he talk to you about why you were being demoted? Or why he
No, they
recommended your
sent it to
demotion?
me in an email.
Okay, they sent it to you in an email? They didn't-
Yes.
You didn't discuss it with you at all?
No.
So what he sent you is the document I have.
Yes.
And again, so that's not exactly voluntarily going down to dispatch, was it?
Being removed as a detective is not a demotion. A detective is just a deputy that works in a specialized unit. I was being moved to road patrol. At the time, as I stepped back from after being in major crimes for a little over 2 years and the things that I had seen, and over the course of my law enforcement career, I knew for me, I couldn't do it anymore. So I voluntarily gave up my badge and gave up my job as a cop so I wouldn't have to see them things anymore.
So you're saying it had nothing to do with this recommendation from Chad Scabelia?
No,
And, he never said that it was an insufficient investigation.
Objection hearsay sustained.
I'm asking if she ever heard that from her boss.
And what you're asking, I sustained the objection.
Okay. So in your mind, there was no reason other than you wanted to go down.
I'm sorry.
In your mind, there was no reason other than when you wanted to, again, switch departments. You didn't want to wear the badge.
Correct. I did not want to deal with the things that cops have to see on a daily basis anymore.
Okay, and let's go ahead and we'll go on to something else because we can come back to this if we need to. But can I go grab something else, Your Honor?
Yes.
Since we have, going back to the buccal swabs, right? You collected a buccal swab from me. You said you also collected one from, was it Rory?
Yes, sir.
So Rory Wilson and myself. And after those buccal swabs went to the lab, did you ever get the results? Did you ever see the results of those buccal swabs?
Not that I recall.
Okay, so the results went to somebody else.
Correct.
Okay, and do you remember who that might be?
Probably Detective Pitcher, but I don't know.
Okay, and did you and Detective Pitcher, did you guys work together, or did you discuss everything about the investigation? I mean, were you working the case together?
In the first beginning of the case, yes. After the first week or so, no.
Okay, so could you tell me who was working the case after that first week or so?
Detective Pitcher,
By himself?
yes.
Okay, all right, just checking because I wanted to keep the timeline here. Okay, so, you didn't get the results from those. You just collected the samples.
Yes, sir.
If I remember correctly, before the lunch break, and I could have them read it back for me, I'm not only asking because of time. Did you say, you never said that, you saw Travis in the truck? that you saw Travis sitting in the truck in the video.
That I said I never saw Travis sitting in the
No,
truck?
that you said you saw Travis sitting in the truck in the video.
I did not say that.
Okay, good. And I'm not exactly sure where, but this is equipment on the screen.
I don't know.
He's mumbling, I can't hear.
He's asking how to place some sort of drive in the mechanism.
Judge, unfortunately, Mr. Muller, who was here earlier, had to go home because he was feeling under the weather. He was sick yesterday. He just came in for the morning session, so.
I imagine you just stick it in the
What a mess in there, huh, Grandma?
I don't mind. You know, if we need to, we can see if Carrie's here. I'm sure he could assist.
I think the judge needs to take it.
Carrie being the head of our tech department. So perhaps if he's, you think he would have it? Okay.
Maybe this judge ain't used to people representing themselves. But it's your constitutional right. That's funny. Yes, very.
Yes? What? Okay, thank you.
Well, look at how the judge acted, how she was professional in the Darrell Brooks case. She deserves
I hear the door opening as we speak.
a reward. Listen to that judge.
Carrie.
That's it. I'm going to be talking about him today.
Mr. Tucker with basically operating the mechanism. He's got some sort of drive in there.
I am going to research the judge out there.
Thank you so much.
All right. Any other questions while he's here? Or?
Can we have a sidebar?
Oh, God, of course.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, sure. Listen to how nice he was to the prosecutor. Oh, sure. Yeah. Come on up here, buddy. She was amazing. I think he liked attention. Sidebar. I wonder what's going on there with Brooks. I wonder what's going on with Bryce. Bryce Rhodes. He was a character, that's for sure.
Sorry, folks, but we hit one of those points where I have to excuse you for a few minutes.
Of course.
I don't believe it will be too lengthy, but it's necessary.
Because the state. Let's take a guess, Grandma. What's going on here? The state objected. Well, no, they didn't object. They just said they wanted to have a sidebar. They're not going to let that man watch that video. You watch. They are being very unfair to Franklin. In my opinion.
All right, so the jurors are gone, so we remain on the record here, and unless you all want to review it outside, off the record outside the court's presence.
Yeah, he was going to appeal.
That's a different IAR, yeah, that's not one I want to do. We can go back to the process. I can have that for you.
Well, hi, Joanne. How are you doing?
I don't know what we're talking about right now.
Thank you for coming
Let
through.
me just try to figure it out. So what was placed in there is not what you thought it was? Is that
No, there's another one here that was actually.
Listen to that judge yell at him. Raise his voice.
This one is another one.
Did you hear that, Grandma? I'm better. Was kind of down for a day. Thank you for asking. I know. Did you hear him?
Well, in any event, if this is forthcoming, why don't you, I'm gonna step down, why don't you listen to what it is?
Oh.
So we don't have to just go through that process if this is something you're gonna use later on.
Holy shit. He is. I'm going to be, Grandma, we're going to be on this judge. We are going to find out who he is. He can't treat people like this. I'm not going to harass the judge. I'm going to look into his record. Oh, okay. No, it's okay. You guys are making me feel pretty good so far.
I think this is best off the record. More, probably should have been dealt with ahead of time, but nevertheless, here we are. So if you want to take a look at a couple of things, so any issues you can raise with me, so perhaps we can avoid breaking again with the judge. So let me know when you need me. Okay.
Oh, listen to how nice he was when he was looking at the state. I wonder how much corruption is going on out there. I want to find out if people have a how many people have represented themselves in this county in Florida? What do you think, Grandma? It's something new and fresh to do, right? Not the same old thing, and not what everybody else is doing. You know what I mean? Yes, it is. I am in shock, actually. I've never heard a judge speak to somebody like that continuously, not just, like here and there. No, it's been continuously today. He's supposed to. Listen to me, I go right with corruption. I guess I'm not really looking for corruption, in a sense. Oh, hey, North Texas Angel, how are you? I love that you cover these cases. I enjoy having you play these in my ear while I'm here at work. I'm in the bushes. The judges, yes, right? I just was blown away how he just yelled at him. And he wasn't in the mic. And thank you. Thank you for being here. That's so kind. I like to cover all different ones, but you know that about me, right? Oh, yeah, obviously. You just said that. So before I go and research the judge, we are going to research this case so we can get caught up on everything because there's a lot to it. I mean, there's what, 3 other defendants, I think. There you go. That's a good word. Disappointed, yeah. Just like that DA, the objection lady in Young Thug's trial. She intimidates that boy. I think she's a bully. I'm good, enjoying a slow Friday. Not ready for the weather coming. I hadn't either. I was looking for something else. I love it when I do that and I come across something totally different that I've never even heard of. What's going on? Fix that screen, Court TV. What's going on? Well, our high today is going to be 13. And we got a storm coming. Allegedly. We can't believe all that. Let me go look for you guys. Winter weather advisory. Let's see what it says. It's going to go on here where I'm at. Hold on. Okay, 2 to 4 inches of snow. It's going to start today at, oh man, that sucks. What's the temp going to be? Oh, don't tell me it's going to rain first. Oh, I hate it when it rains first. Jeez. Jeez Louise. We have no sun. It's a great day. I need to get me some vitamin D. Yep. Oh my God, 41? That's hoodie weather. Nice. You guys have had bad weather this week. Yeah. Oh, you're from, I know where you're from. It's in your name. I never ask people where they're from, though. Oh, you know what? Look at I got my title wrong. Well, my title ain't wrong. I forgot to put a space between Treehouse and Murders. Oh, 61? Really? Oh my gosh. Go from 60 to 12? Oh, here we go. He's going to yell again.
One video the defendant wants to play, his assertion is he's going to impeach the witness. He says she testified that Travis Johnson gave corroborating evidence about what was happening, about him being involved in a crime.
Corroborating evidence about Mr. Tucker being
About Mr. Tucker being involved in a crime. Mr. Tucker's assertion is that she's going to be impeached because on the video, back when Travis Johnson gave a statement in 2017, after he gave his statement, which implicated this defendant, after that statement, they asked him to watch the videos. He watched the videos and he said, I cannot ID this defendant in the video. That does not mean she was lying about having corroborating evidence. He is very conveniently omitting the 90-minute interview he gave that he articulated very concisely that statement at the end, where after he gave an oral statement, they said, okay, now that you give that, and we believe you, we think you're credible, we'd like you to look at these videos. And they asked him to look at the videos, and he looks at the video, and he's like, yeah, I think that might be my truck, but the headlights look a little different, and I can't say if that's Ty or not. That doesn't mean that she didn't have corroborating evidence. She did have corroborating evidence, but the video itself was not. And she kept saying today in her testimony, I know who that was in the truck based on Travis Johnson's testimony. Travis Johnson's testimony articulated that he drove them over there, they got out of the truck and went to the treehouse. But she never said that she could ID him in the video. She actually said this morning, I can't even see who the driver is. And I can't make out the faces of the people who got out of the truck. So where's the impeachment here?
Well, let's hear what Mr. Tucker has to say.
Your Honor, I don't care if she gave 90 minutes worth of, other statements, other corroborating, again, where he corroborated his whole story. His whole story could corroborate everything except when he gets to the point where he says something different. When he actually changes his story, that's when it becomes a problem. And yes, she was there, right there, reviewing the tapes with him when he says something different. So
What
it's not
different
corroborated.
what-
So it wasn't corroborated.
What difference did he say?
He said he couldn't see if it was his truck. He couldn't tell who either individual was in the video, and that again, he couldn't identify that or corroborate that as the video of the incident.
You're taking her testimony you're viewing it too narrowly. She's talking about the totality of what he told her, not one specific instance. So that's not,
Well,
in my view, admissible impeachment.
No, I know. And again, this is one of a few different videos and audios, and we were just having a discussion about this. The problem, from what I understand, is that they don't want the entire section or the entire video played just for the section where I'm using it for impeachment. Again, a very simple one is the IA tape that I was going to play, the one that's still downloading. That one, yeah, she specifically says.
I thought we were talking about this one here.
Well, I mean, yes, we've talked about all of them, Your Honor. We were talking about all of them.
I know, but I'm focusing on the one objection that's now
Okay,
before me.
the objection to that specific video. Okay, again, I gave you my argument. Basically, look, she asked him to identify what's in that video. He cannot. Which again,
you can certainly cross-examine Mr. Johnson, but the way I construed her testimony was, and first of all, frankly, I've been extremely liberal in my view, because a lot of this questioning of her arguably isn't even admissible, because what her opinion is and what her conclusions are really aren't the issue. But nevertheless, I've given great leeway to attempt to impeach her by suggesting at one point that Johnson couldn't ID who was in that vehicle. She was talking about the totality
of his statement.
What he said. So I'm going to sustain the state's objections.
Okay. Other impeachment videos. We were talking specifically about a hot mic video that they're aware of. They're aware. They've seen it. I've seen it. Where again, Danielle Malone said multiple times up on the stand today that they didn't know I wasn't a suspect at the time they did the raid on the warehouse, right? She specifically said that, right? I still wasn't a suspect, right? This video, again, you can only get audio from it. You couldn't get video from it, just the audio. But the audio, yes, she knew I was considered a suspect long before that raid ever happened. She was there when I was named a suspect.
I'm just concerned, excuse me, Mr. Mansfield, I'm just concerned, I've got a jury waiting out here.
I know.
And it feels like this is a matter that is just can balloon here, and I'm not sure that we're not going to have more discussions, so.
You're on.
Ideally, like, all this stuff ideally should have been ironed out ahead of time, but anyway, here we are now, so.
Well, Your Honor, if I may.
Yes, sir.
I agree with you totally. It's, my problems with doing it earlier today is, again, it was a technical problem because, okay, I have the things on my computer or on whatever drive I have them on. Getting them onto the screen is a different story. The other thing is reviewing these things so the state is okay with whatever I'm putting up there. We haven't had a chance to do. And I'd like to offer the state the opportunity to do that. But, here we are. And, it's like.
Judge, if I may just respond to the other video that he's trying to use for impeachment. During the investigation, there are many names that are bandied about. There are people of interest, people they want to talk to, what have you. At what point this defendant became an identifiable suspect, I don't know. It sounds like he's got a portion where she says, I don't know if she's calling him a suspect or somebody they were already aware of. I don't know that it's clear-cut impeachment because I don't know where the inconsistent statement is.
Okay.
But having said that, we do need to listen to that. He refers to this hot mic. I'm familiar with the hot mic scenario. I don't know what portion he's trying to use. He said it's still down. So I would tell Your Honor, maybe we should send the jury home for the day and we stay and work these issues out and we pick it up. I hate to do that, but.
Yeah, I don't see much alternative, quite frankly. And again, I'm not here to point fingers or assign blame, but normally the reciprocal discovery, the defense would say, listen, we got this, this, and this. They'd be viewed, would be redacted in the event that there's portions that required redacting, and the judge would be called upon to make these sorts of decisions once the respective sides had done what they could to narrow the issues. Whatever reason, we don't find ourselves in that posture, and I'm concerned that we're going to be going back and forth here, so I don't know how many more of these things, Mr. Tucker, you have lined up, but.
There's a few, Your Honor, and to be honest, I agree with the prosecution. I think that is the best solution, is that we can send the jury home and we take a look at these things so that way we don't run into these issues. And I will go ahead and make sure any further impeachment materials, I'll make sure that they see long before we ever get there.
Okay, I don't see much alternative. I guess when I allotted the amount of time I did, it kind of factored in these potential delays. So big picture, as I said, the amount of time allotted factored in some of this stuff. So we just don't want, if I'm going to be in a pay me now or pay me later scenario whereby saying, okay, hey, the jurors breathe a sigh of relief, they go home early, but then Friday the 2nd, they're sitting here at midnight. I don't want that, but I don't think we're at that point.
No, sorry.
Okay, so when are we going to ask them to be here on Tuesday?
Judge, well, should be a full day. I don't see, we have, so like maybe the 9 o'clock, and we'll get here at 9 or have them here 9:15 and we'll get started.
You all be here at 9 and 9:15
Yes,
for the jurors, and
Yes,
of course, I'll be available to help if we need some court rulings about this afternoon. All right. Okay, let's bring them in.
Grandma, did you hear that? This guy, he said disgusting. There's a state whining.
All right, well, that's fine. Appreciate everybody's help.
All jurors present in court.
Thank you. Welcome back. Please be seated, everyone. So, you must be wondering, what's going on, Judge? You told us to come back from lunch, and here we are. And we've been basically hurry up and wait. I can't tell you what's going on. So that's the short answer. What I can tell you is I have it well in hand, and that we're going to break early today. Something has come up, and what I foresee is that in the long run, we're far better dealing with it now between Mr. Tucker, the lawyers, and myself, rather than keep on shuttling you folks back and forth. Not to worry, we're still on schedule. That schedule that I gave you at the very beginning, we're still well within those parameters. So I'm sorry for any inconvenience that you've had to suffer this afternoon. But again, not to worry, everything is, normal. This is all part of the trial process. And I think the best way to handle it is to wish you a good weekend, 9/15 Tuesday, and we expect that you'll be presented with more testimony at that time. So remember the instructions, follow them diligently, vigilantly. Have a great 3-day weekend, and see you on Tuesday at 9:15.
Have a great weekend yourself.
Thank you very much.
How'd you get involved in mine, bro?
All right, see you all on Tuesday morning. Here's the door. That means that yours are gone, so.
I think they've been really unfair to this man.
You all are going to have the opportunity for Mr. Tucker to
Yes, sir.
share with you what these impeachment materials are. You're going to assess them. If there are any specific objections, you're going to have them lined up. If they're not, so much the better. But if there are, I'll make a decision, and hopefully we can have a stage set, so to speak, for when we next reconvene with the jury.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, Your Honor. One other thing, just for clarification. I know we discussed the technical aspects of getting Paula on Zoom, and you mentioned how we swear in. Would we swear in via Zoom, or do I need to find somebody who would do that? Well, somebody would do that on site.
I'm willing to swear her in, or if there's, as long as there's no objection. I mean, I'm assuming that everybody knows who she is. She's not a surprise witness, and so I'm able to administer an oath remotely. So if that satisfies yourself and the state,
We have no objection to that, Judge.
Just doing logistics, Judge.
We would, however, I would ask the court if it's okay to send one of my investigators out to be in the room while she's testifying, because I'd like to know who else is in that room. Make sure there's not somebody sitting off camera that's going to be providing her with anything improper. So I would like to have a witness in that room while she provides her Zoom testimony.
Is there any objection to that?
No, Your Honor.
Okay,
Very well.
of course, Mr. Tucker can have somebody in the room also. Mr. Alvarez raised the question about showing exhibits and the like. Again, I'm not going to be up here operating the Zoom. You all are going to be doing that. There's ways to do that, but it's.
You're right. We're good, Judge. We're good because we will have our IT guy here that will help us do what we need to do.
There's a term for it where screen something.
Share screen.
Share screen.
Yeah.
There you go. So.
Judge, just along those lines, one last issue. I know the court inquired just today about the email that I forwarded to your office. I know that you were requesting, I think you were requesting more accurate information with respect to Ms. Belamonte's condition.
And
that's true. I assumed that Mr. Tucker premised his question on the fact that he believed he could get that information that would basically establish that she's simply medically unavailable. But yeah, we're
yes, sir, Your Honor.
Haven't withdrawn that request, but I think his question is based upon the premise that that can be obtained, and then going on to, in anticipation. I can swear in. State can have somebody present just to monitor, observe. So can the defense if they desire. In their event that people want to use share screen, then that's going to be on them to, we'll provide the screen and the reception here. Otherwise, I guess you know what your mission is in
Yes,
terms
sir.
of this afternoon, so the deputies will let me know if and when you need me.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. So you'll have to kind of stand it by. All right.
Right. Okay, should we continue watching this morning's? Let me know either way. Anybody? Oh, no. No. Hold on. Okay. Well, so there's that for now. You understand, sorta? No, there's bad stuff that happens. People have actually, been killed. No way. Okay, Grandma, I will get a hold of you. I'm going to go for now. I'm going to get court documents ready about this case. I'm going to review this case just a little more. And tonight at 9:05, Grandma. Okay? And I want to thank everybody for coming through and cheering me up. Alrighty then. Grandma, I'll send you the documents soon.